Chapter 1190. Sage knew that they were all sanctuary-level cultivators, especially Eileen and Shepard, because they were both super sanctuary cultivators. He could tell how terrifyingly powerful Wilbur was. Nancy felt extremely awful and was worried. She was still standing because Eileen shielded her, otherwise, she would have fainted right away. The others received orders from Wilbur long ago. No cultivators beneath the sanctuary level were permitted to appear in a Sea Lake Island battle. All they needed to do was protect themselves. Therefore, the others stayed still in their rooms. Wilbur raised his hand at that moment, and the historical halberd appeared in his hand. He shook his hand, and the historical halberd was immediately covered in lightning and spiritual flames. "Don't worry. I can take care of you myself," said Wilbur coldly. Sage chuckled and summoned another physical weapon in his right hand. The weapon was a black claw that looked huge and menacing. It was hooked on his hand and ignited in black flames. The border was instantly filled with spiritual energy. Two unseen energies started to fight against each other, which caused a strong wind to howl. The cultivators below frowned hard. It could be said that Sage was more powerful than any of them. He was also a super sanctuary, but Eileen and Shepard felt like they could not create a border that wide. Wilbur stared at Sage's weapon and said slowly, "The Claw of Darkness." "As expected of Trevor Penn," said Sage while smiling. Wilbur said coldly, "Your famous weapon has the ability to inflict pain on the soul. Who doesn't know about it?" Sage smiled, and he looked very confident. "I can't believe you attempted to kidnap a hostage with powers like that. Aren't you embarrassed?" Wilbur asked in a mocking tone. Sage maintained his smile and said, "I'm an assassin, not an honorable knight." "You're not worthy of honor anyway," said Wilbur coldly. Sage also scoffed coldly. The spiritual flames on the Claw of Darkness surged, and countless runes appeared. His figure vanished when he sprinted. Wilbur shouted and abruptly attacked his side with the historical halberd. An explosion could be heard from the border. The Claw of Darkness was held against the historical halberd, which caused the explosion. Sage's figure was forced to appear. He looked surprised. However, he vanished again like he was teleporting. He appeared on the other side and attacked Wilbur's waist. Wilbur stopped his attack as though he was able to predict the attacks. He always knew where Sage would appear. They instantly started an intense close-range battle. Sage moved and attacked various parts of Wilbur with the Claw of Darkness that could absorb power through the soul. Wilbur wielded his historical halberd and blocked the attacks from left to right. However, he did not follow up with any counterattacks. The weapons clashed and made thunderous noises. Their battle caused the spiritual energy to dissipate everywhere. The cultivators could barely see what was going on. Sage moved like a ghost. He was able to break the laws of physics and teleport around Wilbur. All his attacks were lethal. Wilbur stood still, but his historical halberd could always block the sneak attacks from Sage. Sage was like a ghost, and Wilbur was like an unmoving mountain. However, their battle did not stop at all. The weapons kept clashing and made thunderous noises. It caused a raging amount of spiritual energy to dissipate. Sage's border was soundproof and an isolated space on its own, so Eileen and the others could not join the battle. However, they could see the terrifying amount of dissipating spiritual energy inside the border. They could barely see both fighters with their eyes, so they knew how intense it was. Wilbur and Sage kept aiming at each other's vitals. It could be said that each attack was extremely dangerous.